Hello everybody, Will Swaggins here. We're back with it. Today we are doing a eat and run. As you can see, we're starting with Box of Spiders and Spelunker's Hat, which is actually not terrible. Our starting stats though is at least we have 3 HP. I don't know if it's really outweighing the cons here, but it's fine. We'll make it work. Past that though, how is everyone's day? Hopefully it's been pretty good. I am streaming today. I will be doing some Terraria Calamity, of course, naturally, at 4 p.m. Eastern time on the old Twitch channel. Come check it out if you want to come check it out. I don't know. We are making pretty good progress on that. I would say we're probably about 30-40% of the way through Calamity. Roughly, maybe, possibly. It's probably going to end up being a lot longer than Silksong, to be honest. Hopefully you guys don't hear the freaking police chase going on outside. Jeez, every time I start a video, I swear something's got to kick into the background. It's all right. It's fine. Book of Shadows. Do we take that over Box of Spiders? Probably. I'm going to say probably yes. Box of Spiders is nice, especially when you have low DPS. This is a good room. Definitely try and get that because, listen, we get credit card. We ought to good. I will go into the cursed room in the hopes we get something good. We do not. It's fine. I'm going to pop this, get out of it for free. I guess we'll see how this goes. I mean, Spelunker's Hat first 4. I mean, not even first 4. Just you're birthed with Spelunker's Hat. Pretty good. You don't ever have to worry about, you know, finding the secret room or anything or going the right path. You're just going to find it. I don't know. It's pretty good. The stats though, man. It's going to take a second to recover from this. That's why we get that credit card. It'll set us up. We got the champion belt and the red stew. We just got to zoom through the first couple of 4s here. We'll see how it goes. But, you know what? I have a talking topic today. I kind of want to talk about this because, listen, I noticed it. Especially recently, although this happens in waves, but listen, they've been quite aggressive recently. And it's going to be about anime, because one of you guys brought this up. You brought it up in the Discord, and I was like, you know what? This is going to make a good talking topic today, because why not? So recently, if you are an anime enjoyer, you probably, most of you probably pirate your anime. I'm going to be honest. You watch it off a stream site, and you know, you're like, whatever. I don't use none of that Crunchyroll shenanigans. And if you do, I'll tell you why you probably shouldn't use Crunchyroll, to be honest. Crunchyroll sucks. First and foremost, Crunchyroll uses AI for its subtitles nowadays, and most of the times its servers go down anytime the servers get slightly pressed. So Crunchyroll fucking sucks. Just first and foremost, I don't care what you think ethically about pirating or whatever. Crunchyroll doesn't deserve your money, just as a basis. But not only that, recently, anime piracy sites have been being taken down, kind of enforced, and this does happen in waves. I will tell you, I'm of the era of Kiss Anime, where Kiss Anime was kind of the, you know, ultimatum of anime sites. You could go to Kiss Anime, and guess what you would find? Every single anime, there was a comment section. There was like hundreds of people on each comment section. It was pretty sick back in the day, but they took that down a long time ago. I think, what was it, 2016 somewhere around then. And since then, it's basically been a battle every couple years of a new anime site becoming like the dominant anime site. Listen, recently they've been on a case, brother. I don't know if someone like hit the hornet's nest or something, but these anime sites, or these anime piracy sites, have been being targeted by, I don't know who honestly takes them down, to be honest. Whoever gets the cease and desist probably from like whoever owns the site, they know who took them down, but like, I would assume, who's Crunchyroll owned by? It's like Disney or something at this point, right? I don't know. I don't know who owns Crunchyroll. I just know Crunchyroll's owned by somebody else, and that's been why Crunchyroll's been declining as hard as it is. Anyways, they got aggroed recently because over the past few years they've been taking down these anime sites a lot more rapidly, because we've gone from 9 anime to high anime to Aniwave, or Aniwave and the high anime, right? I think that's what it was. Anyways, we've gone through 3 major piracy sites, and they have recently, at least today, took down the servers that everybody's kind of using to watch these animes on all these other like rogue sites that are out right now, because everybody's using a different site right now. And I don't know if they'll be back up. They probably will be, because it's pretty hard. Listen, I'm gonna get into it. Whatever these companies think they're doing in terms of like trying to take down like anime piracy and stuff, it's not gonna work. Listen, and you might be like, oh, that's just code because you want to watch your anime for free. I would pay for anime, by the way, if there was a good site that offered it. I'm not giving my money to Crunchyroll, of all fucking places, because Crunchyroll fucking is ass. Like, I'm not even like just targeting them. I used to use Crunchyroll. Like, I used to pay for Crunchyroll and actually watch my anime for, you know, legally, I guess you could say. But like, dude, Crunchyroll is useless. And nowadays, you have to go to 3 billion different subscription sites to get your anime. Like, there's Netflix and their Netflix original animes, and sometimes they just have the rights to like whatever anime, like JoJo, for example. You have to go to Netflix to watch it, right? And then you got Funimation, who has their, what, do they even have that still up anymore? I don't know. That might be the boomer in me unleashing. But like, point being is, there's a bajillion different sites, and all these animes are getting like, oh, I own the rights to this anime, I own the rights to this anime, you're not gonna put that on Crunchyroll. This is the problem. These like hosting sites that think they're like being smart and trying to make a money off of anime, they're the ones killing their own money potential. Brother, all your sites suck, and on top of that, like sites like Crunchyroll, they don't even have the balls to pay someone to make the subs anymore, and now the subs are wrong constantly. I'll just even point out an example in case you don't believe me. ReZero right now is currently airing, and the past few episodes have had wrong subtitles in each one, and they're still not getting fixed because I'm pretty sure the whole site's run by AI at this point. I don't even know. But like, dude, nobody wants to pay for this shit because it's ass at this point. It's an ass service and nobody cares. Like, who cares about... Okay, well, that's rude. Who cares about paying for this shit if if the people running the site don't even put in the effort to have the right subtitles? I don't know. Listen, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I've already started. But like, listen, I don't know what they think their end goal is here, but I will tell you this. It ain't gonna work. No matter what at the end of the day. And you're seeing it right now. Like, they can take down the servers that all these like rogue anime sites are using. It doesn't matter. Someone's just gonna put it back up. Listen, for a long period of time now, anime torrenting has been a very popular method of watching all your anime, and there are so many people now that have torrented basically the entire existence of anime onto a hard drive. You are not going to put an end to it because they already own all the fucking like all the anime in the world, and they have it on their hard drive with the fan subs already done, and they're not going to credit anybody, and you know, that's kind of a problem as well. But like, this freaking room sucks, by the way. Can we like chill out? Thank you. I had to pop the strength card for that. That was stupid. Well, like, there's no end goal here. They're fighting in a losing battle because the solution for these, like, whoever is taking down the anime piracy sites, the solution is just make a good service. I used to pay for Crunchyroll when it used to be decent, and then it just kept getting worse again. Like, it started out bad, and then it started getting better, and you're like, oh shit, all right. And then I started paying for it. I think this was around the time that Dragon Ball Super was airing, like, for the first times. It was okay back then, and then it stopped being okay. We really need to fix our tier rate issue. Our stats in this run are horrendous. Holy crap, I can't even beat these guys consistently. This isn't even that hard of a room. Like, it's not even a hard room. I wouldn't even classify this as a hard room. It's just painful because I have 2 tier rate. But like, yeah, you're not gonna win. And see this, I don't understand this too. Like, motherfucking these like suits that own these companies and stuff, I swear to God, they don't even know what they're talking about. How did they get into these positions and they don't even understand the basics of like the situation at hand? they'll be like, oh, well, clearly the problem is the anime piracy sites, not the fundamental issue of the sites and the services we're offering. You can't win against the people, brother. They're gonna just pirate it anyways. I mean, isn't like Brazil, just as an example, a super big source of anime piracy? And they love anime over there, dude. I mean, Goku may as well be Jesus Christ. You ever see if you saw when Dragon Ball Super was airing, the shit that was going on when they were watching an episode, like there were live reactions of like crowds of like thousands of people watching Goku power up in the Ultra Instinct. You just got like people fucking screaming their heads off for Goku. You ain't beating those people over there. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's no chance. There's nothing you can do. Oh my goodness, this room is so terrible. Can we fix our tier rate soon? Every room's got to have a gimmick. Hold on, let me lock in. I just need to kill one of them. There we go. So listen, I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for another solid anime site to come out so I can watch my animes and binge watch them again. Because, like, listen, another 9 anime or Anniewave or Kiss Anime is going to come out again. It's never really a worry of if, it's just a matter of when. I don't know. It's stupid. I'm just tired of this endless fucking war. I would pay for a service if it was good. You give me like the Hulu equivalent of like anime, but for like TV series like in America, I'll pay for it. I don't care. I don't really mind. Just don't make the price stupid and outrageous. Like, that's dumb. And don't even pull that argument on me, by the way, that it's like, well, you should be paying for the anime anyways. Those anime studios barely, you know, they barely turn a profit anyways. Dude, I can't. This build is horrendous. It's all utility items. It's like, uh-oh, all utility items. Don't pull the argument on me that that these anime studios are suffering because I'm not paying Crunchyroll money. They don't, dude, it's like Spotify for them. If you ever seen the profits that like Spotify gives to the content creators on there, or the, you know, music creators and lyrics artists, you know, whatever, brother, they're making sense on the millions of views. It doesn't matter to them. The main source of income that these, are you kidding me? The main source of income that these like anime studios are getting from like the profit margins and stuff is usually merch, which I actually buy because I like some of that kind of merch, but they're not making it from like people watching the anime. They're making it from the merch that they sell. Like for example, Goku and stuff, like in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball makes most of its money through video games and merch it sells. It does not make it through people who watch the anime. And that's the whole source of the thing. Most make money off Blu-ray releases or physical copies of whatever it is. Like mangakas make most of their money through physical sales, and I try to buy physical mangas whenever possible. Like I'll go to Sam's Club and I'll buy a manga. I don't care. But like, brother, I don't know, man. It's just so annoying. I swear. Right now, at least I'm reading manga, so it's not a big deal. I don't have to deal with the downturn of like currently having the inability to watch anime right now. But this is actually pretty good. That's a good trinket. I'm just so tired of having to deal with this constant cycle of not having the ability to watch anime. This is why motherfuckers pirate like things, man. It's the whole like central reason. You're not offering a good enough service, or you're not offering the ability to watch it at all. Some animes you can't watch anymore legally because they don't fucking exist. Even though, like, hold on, I would love to think of an example. There are some animes you literally can't watch anymore because they're not on any single like service at all. But this happens a lot with like video games and stuff nowadays too. Like you just have, like, you want to go play an old video game, brother, you got to go pirate it. It doesn't matter what you think. Ethics be damned. Also, I feel like Nintendo also catches a lot of flack for this. They'll be out here and they'll be like, oh, you can you can play this game legally. You just have to pay $70 for a 1998 game. Something crazy like that. Because Nintendo's always repackaging old games. Like, don't they have like the Nintendo 64 and like other console edition of like games and stuff? And then they'll be like, yeah, this is $40. What? This took you no effort to port over. I know it did. And to top it off, $40 fucking dollars. Brother, this game's from the 90s. It's from the 90s. Why are you selling it for $40 in this day and age? Why? They're greedy. Motherfuckers are greedy, and this is why motherfuckers will pirate things. And this is why I kind of like, you know, I don't pirate video games anymore, really, especially from indie devs. But like, this is why people pirate things. Nobody wants to give money to these greedy ass motherfuckers. This is precisely why. I feel like you could just solve world peace and all the problems in the world if you just like remove these like business executive suits who literally just make everything worse. I wish I was like exaggerating this, but dude, have you... So some recent examples of this, I feel like at least, are... Right now, Xbox is owned by an AI guy, but like the AI guy was smart enough to realize, I think, that the Game Pass situation kind of fucked over Microsoft and Xbox as a whole dramatically. So I don't know if did I bring this up recently? Microsoft and Xbox are kind of reverting the the price hike they did. It's still slightly higher than it was before, but like for the main part, they I think they brought it down 30-40%, right? The price, because then they like triple the price from the old price. I think they did, because it went from what, $10 to $30, right? It was something stupid for the Ultimate Edition. And they're the new AI guy that I was getting on about, because I was like, oh, they added Jeff Keighley or whoever he was stepped down from Xbox Studios. He stepped down, and now an AI guy is taking over, and I was like, well, it's fucking over for Microsoft. I think it still is, probably. Or not Microsoft, but Xbox. But he actually is making smarter choices than they were. I don't know, man. And you always got to go. It's like, well, it's not the CEO who's making all these choices. It clearly is, because then every time a new CEO takes control of something, maybe it's like YouTube, for example, things dramatically change. It's always the motherfucker at the top who goes, yeah, we should do this, or we should do that. Or maybe it's someone who they hire who makes the choices. It doesn't matter. Point is, it's one of those two motherfuckers at the top. Either it's the CEO or it's like the CFO. I don't care. Point is, we just need to get rid of those motherfuckers. I swear to God. I don't care. Communists, I don't care. I don't pull whatever card you want to pull on me. I don't. It's stupid. The enshittification will continue unless like we get rid of the motherfuckers who like sit at the top and be like, ah, well, I think we should make everything worse. That'll make the product better, and that definitely won't tank our sales. And then they'll do the surprise Pikachu face when the prices or their sales do actually start fucking falling apart. Like, you're seeing it right now with like the economy in general. Like, let's pick a random one, like an absolutely random one. Wendy's is a great example. So I think I recently brought this up. Wendy's I had very recently, and I noticed it was extraordinarily shit. It was extraordinarily shit. I hope I brought this up because this is such a funny story. I went to go get Wendy's, and when I got Wendy's, I was a Wendy's enjoyer. I'm not anymore now. I'll tell you why. I was a Wendy's enjoyer. Wendy's used to be the absolute throat goat of fast food. I went there. It was good. The fries were good. The spicy chicken, brother. We all know that used to be peak. I went recently, and it sucked. Everything was smaller. Everything was worse. The fries were somehow awful, but they were like they were the least worst thing of the bunch. I got the spicy McNugs, and brother, what happened to the McNugs, dude? Or not the McNugs, but McNug equivalent. these fast food McNuggets things they're all the same. It's all like McDonald's nuggets where it's like they're crispy and then they got the weird interior that really isn't like chicken, but it is. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Fast food chicken nuggets. They're weird. And it was awful. It was dry. It was small. It just didn't even taste as good. It was like everything was worse. And I went to look up the stock prices of Wendy's, and in 2025, they fucking fell apart, brother. They fell apart. Why did this happen? I still don't know the answer. But in 2025, their stock started falling apart, and I started reading up on it, and they started doing price cuts and other things and going back on food costs by making everything smaller and worse because their stocks were falling and they were trying to recover like from the money. How would you think that that is the right choice as a fast food chain like that is already having problems? Why would you think making the product worse, the thing that the people care the most about, would fix anything? Like, oh, but we were losing money. You're gonna lose more money when the food's even worse now. I don't know why they were losing money before, but it definitely wasn't because the food needed to be like changed or something. I don't think the food needed to be changed. It was probably just a matter of like their weird branding shit they've done recently on top of economical factors. You know, it's like the US is somewhat in a recession right now. And I say somewhat, it's 100% in a recession. Listen, don't get me started on politics. Don't get me started on politics. But like, you will not inspire people to buy your product if you just decide to go, well, we're losing money, let's make it worse. How does that fix anything? It makes people not want to buy it now. And you can see this in their stocks. Seriously, go Google Wendy's stocks right now. You will see it. In 2025, they took a dip. And then they made a choice in early 2026 to start doing this to cut back on food costs and other things and basically just make everything worse. And you see it dip again even harder. Before it was like stabilizing, at least at the lower end of whatever they did in 2025 to cause that dip. But then in 2026, with that choice they made it even fucking worse. I don't know, man. And you know it was a motherfucker in a suit that made that choice that went, yeah, I'm losing out on potential money. I'm making hundreds of millions a fucking year. But you know what I need to do? I need to make sure I make at least that extra 20 million right now by cutting back on the food cost. No. Now you're just gonna lose everything. Congratulations. Now, I don't know if Wendy's is actually gonna like permanently fall apart or something and like, you know, go bankrupt, but it probably won't. But listen, they're not helping anything. I'm assuming they'll probably inevitably like do a management change and somebody else will take charge and yada yada. It's kind of similar to what's going on with Xbox, right? But I swear to God, I make better choices than they do. Maybe I don't understand all the finances and stuff, right? But like, at least I can understand the principle. Fucking like, understanding at least the base human fact that, well, you can't cut back on food costs. That just fucks everything. If you cut back on food costs, you have literally damned yourself. This is, I work in the food industry, so like I know this shit at the back of my hand. You don't fuck with people's food because then they just won't come. Like the whole reason these motherfuckers are coming to your restaurant is because they want to eat food, but not only eat food, they want the convenience of eating something better than they would take to make them at home. Like there's a little bit of this convenience thing. Fast food's really convenient. You go there, the food's pretty good, you know, and that's the point. It's supposed to fill you up and make you feel full, even though the food isn't really that good for you. It's genius what like the modern fast food industry is. But like, you go there and it's good, and you're like, okay, that was good. It took me like 3 minutes to go through the drive-thru, and I got a whole fucking meal, and it was really nice. Maybe it was a little expensive nowadays. That's just the economy, but there's still a convenience aspect to it. So people still go. Now imagine it's still expensive, and it's much smaller than it used to be when you were like growing up, and on top of that, it's not even as good as the shit you would make at home. And brother, you don't even know how to cook. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna go there. That's for damn sure. Why the fuck would you go there? That's like the whole principal thing. You can't do that. Why would you cut back on food costs? This is running a restaurant 101. Like, I'm just a motherfucking cook. Dude, what are you talking about? I don't know. Anyways, we got Sacred Heart. Sorry for the rant post, but like, dude, I swear to God, I always stems back to these motherfucking CEOs and shit. I swear to God, remove the CEO position, every company just immediately gets better. And this even applies to companies like Valve. I'm sorry, but Gabe doesn't really do anything nowadays, right? But he makes a bunch of fucking money. And I will say he probably deserved it to some degree because, I mean, he made Valve. He made Half-Life. I mean, it's fucking... He definitely earned it in some capacity. But, like, does Gabe still need to be there and be making money off the company? Probably not. It's probably better that someone else with more ambitious ideas who wants to actually continue Valve's, you know, trajectory of being god tier devs and doing basically groundbreaking things in the industry is actually in charge. But that's, you know, that's hard to find. That's talent, right? But like, Gabe isn't doing anything nowadays, as far as I'm aware. He doesn't even routinely go into the office. Now, I think this is rumor maxing, but I mean, it's probably true. Have you seen the guy's yachts? And I say yachts. Yeah. He's old. I mean, it's natural. He's going to retire at some point anyways, right? But, like, Valve doesn't do much nowadays. And I know you're going to be like, that's a hot take, because Valve does do a lot. Well, Valve does a lot for a normal company at this point. The foundations of what Valve has done is what makes you think that Valve is great. Like, Steam is an amazing concept, right? Steam was made in 2004, brother. And yeah, you might be like, but it's Valve nowadays who has made it so great. Mainly, it was Valve in 2011 that made it so great, because Steam has not really changed since 2010 to 2011 a lot. It's mainly stayed the fucking same. It was the changes between like 2000s and the 2010s that made Steam as good as it is. But Steam nowadays, brothers, you could rewind the clock 10 years right now. Steam's the fucking same. For the main part, maybe a little UI changes and yada yada, but that's nothing. What has Valve released since then? And like, oh, they released Half-Life Alyx, which they released the Vive, and they made VR stuff. Yeah, their Vive was good. It wasn't groundbreaking. It was good though. I wouldn't say anything Valve has done has been like fucking groundbreaking. Like, you want to know what was groundbreaking? Just about everything Valve was doing in the span of like 2003 to 2011 was absolutely crazy. I mean, brother, they own the PC market right now, basically. The PC gaming market, Valve is the sole like owner of that. All these like game companies that have tried to make their own version of Steam exist now, and it's why you saw Origin and what is now known as EA Play. You have Uplay. You have where's the secret room? It's right here. You have Uplay. You have GOG. You have there's so many. There's so fucking many. I could keep going. There's just so many. But like, Valve was doing some groundbreaking shit, and everybody copies them for that. Like, you know, Portal, great fucking unique game, awesome concepts. Half-Life, awesome concepts. Left 4 Dead, awesome concept. And you might be like, oh, but Bill, they didn't make the concept of those games entirely. Sure. So if you don't know, Portal was made by a guy, and then Valve basically, I say, bought the guy and the rights to Portal, and, you know, they turned it into a proper thing. But then you see Portal 2, which was made by Valve, and it's way crazier and expands on a lot. But on top of that, a lot of these projects wouldn't be possible without Valve, you know, taking those people in and making them, like, full sending them with the idea. I'm gonna go all in on this, because we already got Sacred Heart. But, like, Left 4 Dead, that was owned by Turtlehead, I think is what their name was. I think. Point being is, Left 4 Dead 1, you'll get that. It wouldn't have been possible without Valve. And then Left 4 Dead 2 was made by Valve. And then Counter-Strike, you know, is made by, what's his name? Sorry. There's a couple dudes for Counter-Strike. But that, you know, the Counter-Strike initial devs, they were a thing. Valve, you know, got the Counter-Strike and now they own it. And Counter-Strike wouldn't be what it is today without them. I'm going to tell you this right now. Do you see the concurrent player count on Counter-Strike every single day? Brother, they don't even update the game anymore. They don't have to update the game anymore. Why? Because they perfected the fucking game. You don't see that ever. You have like Fortnite reels in that more players every day because of that. Fortnite has to fucking piggyback off collabs constantly. They have to update the game every fucking month, or else people would lose interest and the game would die so fast that you would be gone. It would be gone within a year. Maybe, okay, year's a little bit overstatement, but you know what I'm saying? Like, Fortnite would fucking flop without the updates. Counter-Strike doesn't even need updated, brother. They could stop updating the game right now. It will have a 1 million player count for probably years and still have hundreds of thousands and be in the top 5 of Steam charts for over a decade. And they would never have to update it. Not even once. That's how insane it is. Like, this is Valve, man. And like, well, that's Counter-Strike 2. That's modern Valve, isn't it? Counter-Strike 2 is CSGO. And CSGO is 2011. Don't get me started, brother. Don't even try and pull that card on me. Valve nowadays, they're not doing much with what they have. I feel like there's such a potential, man. You're always like, oh, but Bill, don't you love Deadlock? I do love Deadlock. I really do. But Deadlock is just Dota 2 in third-person format. And I will say it is very cool as a game, and it's got me super addicted. But it's not really groundbreaking. It's just a fun-ass game, right? If you ask me how I felt about Counter-Strike in 2011, brother, I would tell you this is the greatest game of all time. And I probably could still tell you that, but I'm a little bit biased because, you know, I've aged since then. But, like, do you understand how many hours I have in Counter-Strike 2? And I haven't even played the game in, like, months, and I haven't played it consistently for about a decade. About a decade. And I have that, it's still the most hours I've ever put in a game. It is so fucking absurd that, like, you have to understand. Valve just knows what they're doing. But, like, they just don't do anything with it nowadays. They're too busy doing hardware and stuff. It's like, oh, but Bill, the new Steam controller looks really cool. I mean, it looks cool, but is that groundbreaking? It's just a touchpad, bro. It's a laptop touchpad on a controller. And I will say that's very cool that they integrated it in such a, you know, actually really good and, you know, useful way. But I wouldn't say that's groundbreaking. Again, that's where I'm at with Valve. It's like they're still doing great work, good work. But they're not the behemoth and absolute giants they used to be. I don't know. And that might be a hot take. Listen, I'm just saying, brother. You have to understand, I'm not saying Valve's bad. I'm just saying Valve isn't the fucking absolute uncontested geniuses they were. I think they still are. They have the potential, but they're just not doing anything with it. Because I feel like so much potential was wasted with the time spent into the Vive and the time spent into the new VR headset, which, you know, you'll probably see this new VR headset. It's like, but it's cool, Bill. But who's going to really buy it? Nobody, like, a lot of people bought the Vive, but VR never really kicked off, and they're still trying to go into VR. Is it really worth? I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they see something that we don't, but I could tell you from personal experience, while VR is cool and it's a niche little thing, it's niche. It's not something that, you know, changes the industry forever. You know? I don't know. I think it's cool, but it ain't no... It's no, like, Steam, for example. It's just, I feel like it's wasted potential. I don't know. That's my hot take. And I only criticize Valve like this because Valve is that cool, you know? It's that cool of a company. They do very cool things. I have high, like, standards for them. It's like Rockstar and, you know, expecting GTA 6 to be as good as GTA 5, just as, like, a counter example. Because Rockstar... they don't really miss with their games. I don't know if you noticed, but, like, you may be like, I didn't like Red Dead 2, though. Okay, but Red Dead 2 was still a, like, 9.9 out of 10 game. Like, seriously. Like, you may be like, it was so slow, though. But it was an amazing, like, cowboy story, and it had a lot of mechanics, a lot of details to it. The graphics were fucking groundbreaking. Like, brother, I still look at those clouds in Red Dead 2, and I am blown away with how good they look. GTA 6, I have no worries about. Why? Because I know Rockstar's the GOAT. But I don't know if Rockstar will continue to always be the GOAT and be as groundbreaking as they always are. Because Red Dead 2, I gotta say, it was better than anything Rockstar's ever made before. But I don't know if that's going to be the case with GTA 6. I have no idea. We have to, see first. It's just, you can't expect the companies to be godly forever. And I'm not going to be like, oh, Valve is still the same company it used to be just because of the fact that Steam still exists. Like, oh, this is a monument to their achievements. That means they're still really good. That doesn't mean they're still really good. It still means they're good. Doesn't mean they're like, doesn't mean they're 2010 Valve. And I say this, and so I at least want to back up my statement here, because I know someone's probably gonna get on my case, and I know someone's also gonna be like, Bill, stop yapping about shit. Just play the video game. I don't care. This is a yap episode. Okay, we've been yapping for 31 minutes straight. Do you think I care at this point? No, I don't. I don't. I'll ramble max all day. You haven't had a ramble max in a minute, so I don't care. But the reason I kind of get on Valve recently is because the way they treat their games is weird. They literally neglect their games. TF2 is still one of the top 10 games on Steam. They don't update the game anymore, at all, period. And the game gets, it's plagued by bots. It's plagued by other issues. It's plagued by cheaters. And it's like, Valve, why don't you just throw at least a couple people on there? And I know Valve and the structure Valve works with, right? People work on what they want to work on in Valve. And nobody ever has a strict, oh, you have to go do this. You have to go do that. That's not how it really works at Valve, right? But why doesn't anybody at Valve, I don't know, just go work on TF2 for a bit. Give them something. Throw them a fucking bone. Fix the bots issue. Now, I know they've tried a little bit, but that's the one guy who's working on the game trying to fix the bot issue. That's that guy. There's 3 people who probably work on TF2. Seriously. And then Counter-Strike, for example. Brother, I know you just got Anim Graph 2 on CS. Guys, I don't want to tell you how ridiculous you look. If you're one of those CS2 players and you're like, CS2's back, baby, it's CSGO now. Okay, get content parity first, buddy, and then we can start talking. And what content parity is having the same amount of content as CSGO, which it still doesn't. I would like to point out, you've been waiting 2 years for cash. I just want to note this. 2011 CSGO would never. They were releasing 6 maps every month. I don't think do you recall how fast operations were coming out when 2011 CSGO was going? I guess, I say 2011 CSGO. This was more like 2013, because beta CSGO was 2011. And then after that, they first went into the skins, the arms deal update and stuff, right? I shouldn't be disingenuous. The first year was kind of like how CS2's first year was, but it was more of a beta game, and there was content to do. I mean, you had Demolition, you had all those maps. There's more content in beta CS than there was in CSGO than there was in CS2, so that's not a good look, first and foremost. But also that, it's just the fact that we're past that point for CS2 now. CS2 isn't in its first year. It's in its 3rd year. And this is where we're at, man. It's not a good look. I just want to point out, it's not a good look. And this is why I get on Valve's case. They neglect their fucking single best fucking things. Their CSGO or CS2 is their single best performing game on Steam. And it dwarfs Dota 2. And they give more attention to Dota 2, and they already don't give that much attention to Dota 2, than they do CS. And it's like, well, Bill, didn't you say it yourself? They don't even have to update the game anymore, and it just works. Yeah, sure, they don't. But they probably should still update the game, because it's, it's good for player, I don't know, the goodwill of the players. I don't know. How do you word this? Basically, players are happier when there's more content being released, and at least not just content, but, things being changed and things, making the game a bit more interesting. Back in the day in CSGO, brother, they were releasing new guns. The CZ, the R8, and I know the R8 sucked on release. And by suck, I mean was so overly powered that it was an unstoppable menace. But they were releasing new guns, right? But that was cool. And they were reworking guns like the Negev. They were doing other things. brother, you know what they did recently? They just made it harder to have more ammo. I mean, like, they reworked the ammo system, and I could go into the details of it all, but like, just know they reworked the ammo system, and now it's more awkward to manage your ammo, and some guns have a lot less ammo now, and it's like, it's a balance update essentially, quintessentially, but like, most of it was nerfs, some of it was buffs, I guess, but like, not anything that was like insane, not a like wacko, whoa, this is game changing. This is like, no, it's like I took one step forward and then like 2 steps back, and it's like, it didn't really improve anything. It didn't really change much either, in a really negative way. It just has to make you like scratch your head. It's like, this is what you were working on? CS2's development cycle has been so fucking weird, because it's just so many questionable choices. They buy FM Pone's, you know, map, the cache, which is, you know, the map they've been waiting on for a while now. And they go, all right, the map's, well, this is rumor maxing, so, but this is almost certainly what happened, because we've seen the new screenshots of cache now, and it's got new textures than from what it was when FM Pone was working on it. Basically, FM Pone, his version of cache that he was making had a lot of it was unoptimized, but it was like super unoptimized. It wasn't unplayable or something. But what they did at Valve was they're like, okay, we'll fix the optimization. We will remake the map's textures and stuff. This took about 2 motherfucking years. And needless to say, that's ridiculous for a company that is as powerful as Valve to just rework the textures on a map. Maybe they reworked a lot more than that, but even still, the fundamental like layout of cache will still remain the same. So there's no way it's that different, because the map layout's already determined. I know their asses don't have 20 people working on like the design and everything and the balancing of specifically cache. They probably had like 3 motherfuckers doing it. And then like other people from other Valve departments being like, hey, can you give me like, can you make like a model for this? That would like help me out. And he's like, I'm working on Deadlock right now. Don't bother me, buddy. I'll get them back to you in like a month. And this is why it took like this long to get cache. But then they'll be like, oh, don't worry though, we're releasing skins on a regular schedule. No operations though. We are releasing new maps, but generally they suck, and we aren't even like quality checking them at all. And some of them just have like, what was the one? It was like two cycles ago on the maps like that they were releasing. One of them had like a major issue. It was like, what was it? Oh my god, I can't remember. It was the one with the, they had, I think they just removed it, right? It was the one with the police car on it, right? That had the siren. There was something on the map that was like bad. I don't even remember what it was. CS players, you probably know. Anyways, point is, they're not even quality checking these maps. A lot of the maps suck upon release. Not all of them. Like, it's just some of them are kind of like, I don't know. It's back in the day for CS:GO. There's better community maps they can be picking, and when they do add a really good community map, like, for example, FM Pone's Thera, it gets removed anyways. They don't even keep it around. And the game already has kind of a map issue where it's like, you could still just add this to the unranked queue. I don't know. Why get rid of it, Yara? Because, like, the game already has an issue of not having, like, that much content. Why remove maps after you've added them? Especially if the community, like, let the community vote for them to keep them one around or something. I don't know. Probably because it costs Valve money or something, but it doesn't really make sense. People always use this excuse. I don't think Valve pays people to just have the map in the game. I don't think so, at least. I think they ask for their permission, but I don't think that they have to, like, give them money. The whole money thing comes from the collections, and what collections are in Counter-Strike, at least in Counter-Strike, or in CSGO, were like these a pool of skins that were dedicated to a map. So like if you had the cache collection, this actually, he would get, so FM Pone was the creator of the map at the time, and he owned the map fully, right? So you would have to pay royalties to him every time, you know, someone got the skin or sold the skin or whatever, right? And he was basically earning passive income. So they were having to pay FM Pone for the map, right? well, they probably really don't want to do that, right? They definitely can't afford to do that because they're not making that much money, and Valve is still making money off of that. But they probably don't want to do that. But the thing is, they're not making collections for these new maps that they're adding, that they add for like 2-3 months at a time. So I don't think Valve's really paying anybody to have these maps in the game. I could be wrong. Maybe they are. Quote me if I am wrong. But even then, Valve can still afford it, brother. They own Steam. Like, what do you think this is? Do you think they're a small indie company or something? I don't know. And this is what I'm talking about with the suits thing. Someone's making a bad choice at Valve. And I'm just saying, don't neglect the things that are like your fucking breadwinners. I don't think that's the smartest idea in the book, I'm gonna be honest. They are working on Deadlock right now. You can tell the passionate people at Valve are the ones, they're all on Deadlock. And you can tell this because, brother, they have a thing right now where someone might like post like a good suggestion on like the subreddit or something for Deadlock. The next 24 hours, they add it. I shit you not. And if not the next 24 hours, like the next 48 hours. And it's like a good suggestion. It's like, here's a good example. So Paige is a character in the game, and she used to have an ability called Conjure Dragon, and someone was like, oh, and she's like a book, like librarian themed kind of character. Think kind of like Velma from from Scooby-Doo, kind of like that. And she's always carrying books around, and the ability didn't really have a good name before, but it, you know, kind of conveyed the point, right? So someone's like, oh, you know what would be a good name for this? It'd be cool if you, like, if this was like Bookworm. And it's like bookworm, like as in a worm, like WYRM, like a worm, like the dragon things. And literally 48 hours later, they changed the name to that. And there was also another thing. I think, what was it? Plot armor. So I forget what it used to be called before the ability now, but her old ability was like a thing. It lets you give people like a set of armor, like it was like a HP barrier thing. And someone was like, this was also in the same suggestion, oh, you should change it so it's like called plot armor or something. And they changed that too. Bro, you can tell the people at Valve, they really give a fuck. And the amount of like fucking character and the design they're putting into the game, and the amount of effort you can tell they're putting into the game, especially with all the character releases and all the voice acting and all the stylization and all the feedback that they're actually listening to, and the fact that they're actually talking to the community. The people who care at Valve are all on Deadlock. But like, I think someone could at least make the choice here to go, maybe we shouldn't ignore Counter-Strike. I don't think, like, Counter-Strike has a team. I think, what is it, 20 people right now? I think that's literally confirmed by someone who went in there. 20 people isn't enough for a game that has 1.2 million concurrent players every single day. Concurrent, that's just at the time. I think it's peak, that's like its peak concurrent time, which persists for like a few hours of the day, and then it's like 900k to a million throughout the rest of the day. That's not enough. That's 20 people isn't enough. I don't care what you think. Like, that's not enough. And you could tell it's not enough because it took them 3 years to release an animation update to get the what AnimGraph was. Like, I brought it up earlier, the AnimGraph 2. That's just the Source 2 version of the animation rigging kind of... I don't want to use the wrong terminology, but basically it's the animation system they use, and it determines how much data is being sent for animations, what the animations kind of look like. It made the game more optimized, and it made the models look a little bit better, essentially. It made the animations better. And it took them 3 years just to port the CSGO version of the animation graph, which was AnimGraph 1, to AnimGraph 2 onto that. And they did release kind of an intermediary update where they did it for the guns first, but every time they release these AnimGraph updates, everything massively breaks in some way. And this time they were smart enough to actually use their, you know, built-in feature of betas and stuff that they have on Steam. You know, the people who made Steam using their own features, crazy. But like, even still, they let it be on the beta for like a week, wasn't it? Like, maybe it was 2 weeks. But point is, they released it to the main stable branch, and shit was still broken. There was a 1 hour period where every burst fire gun in the game could be fired instantly. So like, for example, the Glock, you could switch it to a burst fire mode. Normal shot, you know, it's like a single shot, goes bam, 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 bam. Then burst fire is and what was happening, this is weird because apparently I guess guns are animation tied for how fast they shoot or something. I don't even know how this happens, but any gun that was a burst fire or could be set to burst fire was firing all their shots at once in that burst fire instantaneously. So the Glock would be firing 3 rounds into one. And that was a problem because, you know, firing a giga 3 times damage round at your enemy, probably a little unbalanced. But how does nobody catch this? How does nobody catch this? Where's the quality checking? I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying 2011 Valve would never. I guess I shouldn't say would never, but at the very least, not something like that. Now, 2011 Valve, or more, I guess I should say 2015 Valve, when they released the R8, they will release a very OP weapon and let it persist for a week because, you know what? Fuck it, why not? Because when they released the R8, this gun was ridiculous, by the way. It was a 1 shot on any like body shot. It didn't have to be a headshot. So if you shot somebody with the R8 for a week, it persisted this way. And this is a gun you could buy on the very first round of the game. It was a $700 gun, and it was just a 1 shot. It was an op, essentially, and the op is literally the strongest gun in the game. It's a sniper. You know, you actually have to set up your shots and be tactical with it. This gun has a right-click ability that lets you, you know, spam fire it, and any upper body shot, not even just upper body, just any torso shot, arm shot, head shot, you're dead instantly. Does not matter. You could have an AK. The enemy could have an AK. Oh, I have an R8. I win the encounter, and that's a $2,700 gun versus the $700 gun. And they let that stay around for a week. But the gun wasn't broken in any way. It was just unbalanced as hell. And anybody could buy it. It wasn't like restricted to one team or the other. So it was just a weird week of meta where it's like, oh, what are you guys running this round? Oh, we're all running R8s with armor. That's our buy round. But anyways, that's it. Sorry, I ramble maxed all episode. But it's cool. It's whatever. But seriously, I do hold the take. But suits are ruining everything. Honestly, just get them out of here. If you're wearing a suit right now, sorry, buddy. Bye. I'm half joking. But no, they do make objectively bad choices, almost seemingly consistently. And you just have to wonder, it's like, bro, are we really that stupid? I don't know. Anyways, I'm streaming today. Come check it out. See you guys on the next one. Sorry for the ramble, Max. Au revoir. Peace.